Welcome back to Kdramas Decoded, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of your favorite K-drama. Episode 9 of Spooky in Love begins on a beautiful and emotional note, as Kangwuk and Yuri officially take another major step in their relationship. Yuri tells Kangwuk that she genuinely wants to get engaged to him, and the two finally make their engagement official. Their engagement celebration takes place at a beautiful location filled with glowing moonlight. Kangwuk reveals that he specifically searched for the perfect place to commemorate their engagement, even pointing out how the moonlight reminds him of the first time he and Yuri held hands. The conversation quickly becomes more emotional when they talk about the month Yuri spent seeing ghosts. Yuri admits that the experience was frightening, but Kangwuk says that he never considered it a hardship because those ghosts ultimately brought Yuri into his life. Yuri then admits that there are still parts of her past she cannot remember. She feels that perhaps she is afraid of confronting whatever happened, but Kangwuk reassures her that they do not have to solve everything at once. He promises to stay beside her and tells her that, now that they are truly engaged, they should share their difficulties instead of facing them alone. However, their happiness doesn't last long. The very next day, Yuri's position as the CEO of Raina Hotel comes under serious threat. A group of shareholders begins moving against her, with the goal of removing her as CEO through an emergency shareholders meeting. The people opposing Yuri understand that her engagement to Kangwuk has actually increased public interest in her and Raina Hotel, meaning they need to act quickly before her popularity and business performance improve even further. Yuri's side initially finds itself slightly behind in the shareholder battle. Although they are close to securing enough votes, they still need additional support to guarantee control. Someone suggests using evidence involving an illegal slush fund connected to the opposing side. However, Yuri refuses to expose the information prematurely. The evidence is incomplete, and several powerful people, including a senior prosecutor, are connected to the scheme. If Yuri releases the information without enough proof, the opposing side could turn the investigation against her and Raina instead. With time running out, Yuri decides that the best option is to personally contact shareholders and convince them to support her. This leads her team to Han Se-in, one of the major shareholders connected to CKO Construction. Se-in is currently living in Singapore and working as an art director, while also holding exhibitions and running her own business. Yuri travels all the way to Singapore hoping to convince her. Unfortunately, the meeting does not go as planned. Han Se-in reveals that someone has already approached her with an extremely generous offer. They are willing to buy her shares for twice Raina's current stock price. Se-in has already agreed to sell. Yuri tries to persuade her by offering something beyond immediate money. She tells Se-in that she doesn't see her simply as another shareholder. Instead, Yuri wants to build an artistic partnership with her and promises to give her opportunities to organize exhibitions through Raina's domestic and overseas affiliates. Se-in admits that the offer is attractive and could benefit her career, but she ultimately chooses the immediate financial reward and refuses Yuri's proposal. Even worse, Se-in suddenly disappears before Yuri can meet her again. Yuri realizes that someone is deliberately making moves behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Kangwuk is struggling with being separated from Yuri immediately after their engagement. When Yuri calls to explain the situation, he becomes worried and offers to stay with her while she works through the night. Yuri initially refuses, but Kangwuk insists that he can at least help by bringing her coffee. Their sweet conversation shows just how determined he is to support her, even when he cannot directly solve her business problems. Eventually, Yuri has to leave for another meeting in Singapore. Kangwuk jokes about following her, and when he discovers that another man is also traveling with Yuri, his jealousy and concern become even more obvious. Unable to stand being apart from his newly engaged fiancée, Kangwuk suddenly decides that he should find a way to travel to Singapore as well. He discovers that there is an international prosecutors conference taking place there. At first, he tries to find a legitimate reason to attend, but the timing doesn't work because the application deadline has already passed. That doesn't stop him. Kangwuk starts looking for another international legal conference that could somehow be moved or arranged in Singapore, simply because he wants an excuse to be near Yuri. At the same time, Yuri continues trying to save her position. Her team discovers that Han Si-in has disappeared after receiving the mysterious offer. They begin investigating who invited her to the Singapore Investment Conference and who is behind the sudden attempt to purchase her shares. The mystery becomes even more suspicious because Han Si-in isn't actually connected to the hotel investment industry in an obvious way. Yuri realizes that there must be another reason she was invited. While investigating Si-in, Kangwuk also receives a request from Yuri. She asks him to help find Si-in's whereabouts because her own team isn't making enough progress. Kangwuk immediately agrees. He brings in one of his contacts, who is particularly good at tracking down information. The investigation begins with Si-in's social media, where they discover photographs from exhibitions and locations she has visited. Eventually, they notice one photograph that keeps appearing on her feed. This seemingly ordinary image may actually contain the clue they need. But before Kangwuk can finish investigating, another personal mystery begins resurfacing. Earlier, Kangwuk's friend had shown him a mysterious pendant believed to have protective properties against ghosts. Seeing the pendant causes Yuri to remember something from her childhood. She suddenly recalls the accident from 12 years ago. During that incident, Jaewon had placed the same type of pendant around Yuri's neck. Yuri wonders whether the pendant might have been among Jaewon's belongings after the accident, but no one knows what happened to it. This moment is important because Yuri's memories have been returning in fragments, and the pendant could potentially be connected to the truth surrounding the accident. Meanwhile, Kangwuk's younger brother confronts him about Yuri. He realizes that Kangwuk has been hiding his true feelings for her, and accuses him of pretending not to care when he previously questioned Yuri's relationship with Kangwuk. Kangwuk admits that he doesn't want to fight with his brother, but he also reveals something deeper. He has spent much of his life avoiding conflict because whenever he argues with his brother, the rest of the family tends to blame him. His brother doesn't fully understand what Kangwuk has been carrying emotionally, leaving their relationship tense. While all of this is happening, Yuri's business situation becomes increasingly desperate. The shareholder battle remains almost perfectly balanced, with votes constantly shifting between the two sides. Yuri continues looking for alternative shareholders who might support her. She eventually arranges another potential meeting with an individual investor, hoping to secure additional support. However, that meeting suddenly falls apart when the investor claims that he has to attend another meeting. At the same time, Kangwuk finally makes his way to Singapore. Back in Korea, his colleagues are confused when they discover that he has taken 3 days of leave without properly explaining where he is going. They eventually realize the truth: Kangwuk has gone to Singapore. And when they find out that he left without telling them, the teasing begins. One colleague jokes about how Kangwuk and Yuri were apparently working together all night before he disappeared, while another complains that he was left out. The comedy briefly breaks up the tension surrounding the business crisis. Meanwhile, Yuri's personal connections become increasingly important. An older woman close to Kangwuk's family meets with someone and begins asking about him. She wants to know where Kangwuk is and even expresses a desire to have a meal with him. During the conversation, an old family connection is accidentally exposed, leaving everyone shocked. The episode ends with Yuri still fighting to protect her position at Raina Hotel, while Kangwuk is now in Singapore, determined to help her. The mysterious buyer behind Han Si-in's shares remains unknown, but it is becoming increasingly clear that this isn't simply an ordinary shareholder dispute. Someone has carefully planned the takeover attempt, made a secret offer worth twice Raina's current stock price, and deliberately disappeared before Yuri could stop them. At the same time, Yuri's recovering memories about the 12-year-old accident and Jaewon's pendant suggest that the mystery surrounding her past may finally be starting to unravel. And with Kangwuk now by her side in Singapore, the two are about to face both the business crisis and the secrets from Yuri's past together.